It comes down to this. If you are a Republican, you are being investigated. If you're Republican News, Project Veritas does investigative work. They had the alleged diary of Joe Biden's daughter, her journal. If you are a Republican lawmaker, you are being subpoenaed by the FBI for your cell phone records in regards to who was it? Scott Perry. Yeah, Representative Scott Perry. The reasons Representative Scott Perry had his cell phone taken was because he had January 6 connections between him and President Trump. The information being requested centered around U.S. Rep. Scott Perry, R. Pennsylvania, and the efforts to seek alternate electors as part of the former President Donald Trump's efforts to remain in office after the 2020 election, several sources said. So it is about the January 6th committee. As I said in an earlier video, I understand that you're probably a new viewer. You probably have never seen one of my videos before. Thanks for stopping by. This is what we're talking about today. Scott Perry was he had his cell phone confiscated by the FBI a day after, less than 24 hours after, excuse me, Donald Trump's home and office were raided by the FBI. What this raid was supposed to be about was about documents given to him throughout his presidency that he kept at his home. The archives, National Archives, wanted to get those documents, and he was working with them, and they reported this information to the FBI. The FBI launched on the raid and gave not really too much reason nationally for the reason that they did the raid, but they did give the warrant for the raid to Trump's lawyers, to his attorney, so they have this information. The judge that gave who signed the warrant, he has given the FBI, or the DOJ, specifically Merrick Garland, until the 15th of this month to expound and give a statement on the warrant, to reveal what the warrant was about. I don't think that that's good news for Trump. I don't think it's bad news for Trump. But what it is it's I don't think it clears the judge at all. I still think he's kind of a nasty person. He did, in fact, work for Jeffrey Epstein and help Jeffrey Epstein not get indicted for his terrible crimes against underage individuals, to keep it clean. This judge is not a good person. Okay, so I don't think that him saying that the FBI has to come out and release the warrant is a good thing. The judge himself has said pretty woke anti-Trump things on his Facebook, on his personal Facebook. He said that President Trump was dishonorable, or just not a good person. I can't remember the exact word he used. But it comes down to the fact that if you are a conservative, if you are a Republican, if you have any sort of right-wing leaning affiliation, the FBI is going to come after you. They're going to do everything that they can to see if you have done anything wrong, and that investigation will take 5 years. And they may find out, oh wow, you didn't do anything wrong, but you will be investigated for 5 years. You will be investigated during the midterms. You will be investigated during the presidential election. And it will come out that if you are a Republican, you are a criminal. That is the goal here. Forget all the little things going on with Trump or Scott Perry. The point is, if you're a Republican, you are a criminal. That's why they are investigating every single Republican, conservative institution or individual of power. Scott Perry is a way to get to Trump. The reason they want to get to Trump, they can't actually make it so he can't run for president again, because the presidency is in the Constitution and it's not subject to laws that are passed by Congress. So and there is a historical precedent to say that the documents given to the president, or documents accumulated by the president in his presidency, are actually property of the president. There's a precedent of that because of a good example is Nixon. His water tape or Watergate tapes were his property that the Congress wanted to get from him. They didn't want him to destroy those tapes. They wanted him to turn them over. And they had to pass a specific bill to make it so that he couldn't destroy those and so that he would be forced to exchange them with them. However, they did have to compensate him for the Watergate tapes because they were in fact his property. So the things that were confiscated, the classified material that confiscated from Donald Trump, those documents were in fact his property, as far as I can tell. So it's not going to stop him from being president. Even if those documents aren't legally his property, it won't prevent him from running for president because of the Constitution. The Constitution gives certain protections to President Trump. That may have been the case for Hillary Clinton with her 33,000, 32,000 emails, but her emails. That may have been the case for her, that she could have run for president even if she was convicted of a crime regarding classified material. However, I personally believe the reason that the FBI didn't go after Hillary Clinton was so that she could in fact run for president in 2016. That's the only reason I can understand. She had borderline criminal negligence when handling the documents. They said that she was extremely careless. This is something that FBI said. They said she was extremely careless in handling the documents. They couldn't verify that her private server wasn't hacked into. They couldn't validate, or they couldn't be sure whether the documents had been copied or not. And then after being subpoenaed for those documents, which they should have subpoenaed President Trump, but after Hillary Clinton was subpoenaed, she then went out of her way to go against the law of the subpoena and to destroy those documents after they had been subpoenaed. So, very obviously criminal. They didn't pursue her because they wanted her to run for president. They didn't want to eliminate that possibility. The interpretation of the law may be, however, that it wouldn't have mattered because it's a constitutional office and Congress can't really decide who can and can't run for office because the Constitution has the final say. That is one of the plays that they probably were going for with President Trump, but before they did this, they may have understood that that wasn't a guarantee. I believe that the real purpose here is the midterms. They're trying to do another Ocean's 11 where the heist goes on months before the actual robbery. Okay, that's how I think the 2020 election was lost between President Trump to Joe Biden. It wasn't that there was illegal voting going on, but that the laws were changed well in advance to favor the Democrats so that they could Ocean's 11 that election. That's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to Ocean 11 the midterm elections, and hopefully enough of this will stick till the 2024 presidential election. I spoke yesterday or earlier today about the fact that it's taken the FBI years to investigate Hunter Biden, even though he has plenty of evidence on the laptop that is verifiable that he has committed multiple federal felonies. He is a federal felon in every single way, okay, except for the part where he has not been convicted of any, or even tried for any criminal federal crimes. But you can watch them happen. You can go onto the internet right now. You can watch him commit federal crimes. You can watch him commit firearms crimes, drug crimes, and there's plenty of evidence to spur an investigation into the President of the United States, to say the least. But they won't do that because they're interested in investigating the conservatives, the Republicans. Now, it has been said that there are plenty of good groups of FBI agents in the FBI that aren't corrupt, that there are plenty of by the book agents that aren't criminals, that aren't going to be biased in their execution of the law. But that doesn't matter. What matters is we have agents of the FBI that are willing to use their power that is given to them by the people to ruin and distort our election processes and the law, and to pursue political um, goals based off of law enforcement. That is where we're at. The FBI has to go. It's worse than just the FBI. It's the DOJ. Is nothing but corrupt people. And sure, there may be good people in the FBI and the DOJ, but again, they're non-consequential actors. They don't matter. What matters is that we have bad actors in government. They're doing bad things. They're coming at you to really affect your vote. Last thing I want to talk about is this is not going to be looking good for either side. President Trump hints that the FBI may have planted evidence at his home. The FBI agents were they told the attorneys of President Trump that they couldn't be around for while they were executing the warrant. They also told the attorneys to turn off the security cameras, which the attorneys did not do. So the attorneys have security cameras, footage of the FBI raid against the FBI's request. So that's going to be an interesting tangent to follow. I think it is bad that President Trump is saying that they're going to plant evidence, or that they may have planted evidence, or hopefully they did not plant evidence. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, it happens where cops plant evidence on criminals all the time. I've seen it happen on video. I've seen it actually take place on video. So I'm an observer to the fact that this happens. Okay. Now, to have it happen on such a scale would be unbelievable. But this is a misdirect. The point is that every Republican conservative individual is a criminal. Now, there are good conservatives or good Republicans like Liz Cheney, but she's been kicked out of the her state's Republican Party, and she's lost all of her Republican jobs, all of her council memberships. She is a Republican in name only, and not even in her state does she have that name. So she may be thinking like, well, I'm going to be in the uniparty after the conservatives, after the Republicans are taken out. Whatever. What matters is that any conservatives of substance are being investigated. And maybe we'll see the Daily Wire have investigations going on here in the next year. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. At the end of the day, if you have the entire government doing your dirty work for you, you don't have to do anything questionable because it's already being done. If Trump had been Democrat president, someone else would have been on the phone with the Zelensky. There would have been no second impeachment. That's kind of what this is to me. It's on the scale of that phone call. What I imagine the Democrats felt towards that phone call, I'm feeling with this. I have a million arguments of why this is more scandalous, but at the end of the day, they had crazy feelings about that phone call. I have crazy feelings about this. But the point is, Joe Biden doesn't have to do anything because everybody in the administrative state is already doing it for him. I hope you enjoyed this kind of conversation, this rant about how hopeless our country is. Leave a like if you liked. Leave a dislike if you didn't. I hope you come back. I'll be making more videos tomorrow. I got one coming tomorrow morning at, let me think here, 8 o'clock Pacific time. And I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Catch you on the next one.